The moon hung low in the ink-black sky, casting a feeble light on the deserted highway that stretched ahead. Sarah gripped the steering wheel with clammy hands, her knuckles white, as she navigated her way through the desolate, winding roads. She couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister lurked in the darkness. Sarah had set out on this journey to visit her family in the neighboring state. It was a trip she'd made countless times before, but tonight felt different. A foreboding sense of unease settled over her like a shroud. Her headlights carved through the thick, oppressive night, revealing the tall, looming trees that lined the road, their branches resembling skeletal fingers reaching for the heavens. As she drove deeper into the night, Sarah's unease grew. The radio had crackled to static miles ago, leaving her alone with her thoughts and the eerie hum of the engine. She couldn't help but glance into her rearview mirror every so often, half expecting to see a pair of malevolent eyes gleaming in the darkness. Suddenly, the engine sputtered, and the car shuddered. Panic surged through her veins as she wrestled with the steering wheel to maintain control. Sarah coasted to a stop on the side of the road, her heart pounding in her chest. She cursed her luck and fumbled for her phone, praying for a signal. She had no choice but to call for help. After several agonizing minutes, a signal bar appeared, and she dialed a tow truck company, explaining her situation through trembling words. As Sarah waited in the darkness, the minutes ticked by like hours. The oppressive silence was broken only by the distant hoot of an owl and the rustling of leaves in the wind. She scanned the woods on either side of the road, feeling as though something unseen was watching her. Finally, the headlights of a tow truck appeared in the distance, cutting through the night like a beacon of hope. Relief washed over Sarah as the truck pulled up behind her. The driver, a burly man with a scruffy beard, stepped out and approached her. "Having car trouble, miss?" he asked, his voice gruff but reassuring. Sarah nodded, grateful for the assistance. "Yeah, it just died on me. I'm lucky you came by." He nodded and began hooking up her car to the tow truck. Sarah watched him work, feeling safer in his presence. She tried to make small talk to pass the time. "So, you've been doing this job long?" she asked. The driver glanced at her with a faint smile. "Long enough to have seen my fair share of strange things on these roads, that's for sure." Sarah's curiosity was piqued. Strange things? Like what? He chuckled, a low, rumbling sound. "Well, they say these woods are haunted. People have reported seeing all sorts of things out here in the dead of night." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Ghosts, you mean?" The driver shrugged. "Could be. Some folks say they've seen shadowy figures darting between the trees or heard whispers on the wind. But you know how stories like that go. Probably just the imagination playing tricks." Sarah nodded, though she couldn't help but feel a chill crawl down her spine. She glanced into the woods once more, half expecting to catch a glimpse of something out of the ordinary. The driver finished securing her car and returned to her side. "All set. We'll get your car to the nearest garage, and you'll be on your way in no time." Gratitude welled up inside Sarah as she thanked the driver and climbed into the tow truck. As they pulled away, she couldn't shake the eerie feeling that had settled over her earlier. She watched the dark woods recede in the rearview mirror, wondering what secrets they held. A short while later, they arrived at a dimly lit garage. Sarah's car was carefully unloaded, and the driver assured her that the mechanic would take a look first thing in the morning. She thanked him once more and watched as the tow truck rumbled away into the night. Alone in the garage, Sarah shivered, feeling vulnerable. She decided to stay in her car until morning, not wanting to venture out into the eerie darkness. She reclined her seat and tried to get some sleep, but every rustle of leaves and hoot of an owl sent her heart racing. As dawn broke, and the first rays of sunlight pierced the horizon, Sarah finally felt a sense of relief. She stepped out of her car and stretched, eager to put the night behind her. But as she glanced back at the woods one last time, she swore she saw something move among the trees. A shadowy figure with malevolent eyes, watching her depart. With a shiver, she hurried into the garage, leaving the mysteries of the night behind as she continued her journey, forever haunted by the darkness she had encountered on that lonely highway. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you have any more questions, or if there's anything else I can do for you,